Chaos was rampant in China's westernmost region. Violent attacks were targeting civilians of all ethnic groups. Explosions were frequent in almost all parts of the Uyghur Autonomous Region. Xinjiang became a battlefield in China's fight against terrorism. According to incomplete statistics, thousands of terror attacks were launched in Xinjiang from 1990 to 2016. This program tries to get to the root cause. To bring out the truth behind the deaths and sorrow. To remember the victims and survivors, and to provide a reference to the current situation in China's westernmost region. April 30th, 2014, at the Urumqi South Railway Station. A knife attack and a suicide bombing. 3 people died and 79 were wounded. Among the seriously wounded was Imam Niyaz. This selfie video shows Rashid making explosive devices before the attacks. He was the main suspect. Rashid learned to make IEDs from an online video produced by the East Turkestan Islamic Movement, or the ETIM. The foreign friend Rashid mentions is Ismail Yusuf, a member of the ETIM. Ismail Yusuf introduced him to 2 associates to carry out the suicide bombing. Both of the men died.
Ismail Yusuf 是境外恐怖组织的东运营的成员，他在境外直接指挥，将内呢由Rashid等人直接参与并制造此案。
According to the police, Ismail Yusuf was the black hand of the April 30th attacks. He used religion to recruit members, taking spiritual control over them. He then asked them to carry out violence while he hid outside the country. China's police say the April 30th attacks were typical in Xinjiang. They have listed the steps. Terrorism is incited from outside the country. It is spread online, and it is picked up locally. Police say the timing of the April 30th attacks has political motives. Rashid expressed neither regret nor remorse. The April 30th attacks in Urumqi have great similarity with the March 22nd terrorist bombing in Brussels in 2016, where coordinated suicide bombings occurred at transport hubs, killing over 30 people. ISIL claimed responsibility. Experts say terrorists are learning from each other. Inspiration for terrorism was easy to find in Xinjiang. In 2012, a bomb plot on a flight from southern Xinjiang's Holtan to Urumqi was crushed. ETIM extremists attempted to ignite explosives on the plane, like the 9/11 terrorist attacks on the United States in 2001. Crew and passengers eventually managed to gain control of 6 terrorists.
第一时间反映的是， 反正要那个啥，如果是我去到那边去把他们制住，我们还有那个啥，我还有那些其他人，飞机上的其他人有生还的那个啥机会。如果说坐在这儿的话，这是肯定是出事的，那是肯定的。
China blames the ETIM for outbreaks of violence in Xinjiang. It has listed the ETIM as the most direct security threat to its sovereignty and unity.
我们一直说过，东突势力对中国的安全构成严重威胁，我们愿与国际社会一道努力，共同打击东突分裂和恐怖势力。
Some Western media have challenged China, saying Beijing exaggerates the threat from the ETIM. The Chinese government has rejected these allegations by releasing more evidence. The Xinjiang Uygur Autonomous Region is a vast, sparsely populated area that shares borders with 8 countries in Asia, including Afghanistan and Pakistan. The East Turkestan Islamic movement was reportedly founded by Hasan Maksu, a man from Xinjiang's Kashgar in 1997. The roots go back to the end of the 19th century. Pan-Turkism and Pan-Islamism thoughts were introduced into Xinjiang. Separatist forces politicized this term to create an independent state, the so-called East Turkestan, to split it from China. Since its establishment, the ETIM has maintained close ties with international terrorist organizations like Al-Qaeda. In 2002, the UN Security Council designated the ETIM as a terrorist organization. Bank accounts of members were frozen, assets were seized. In December 2003, China's Ministry of Public Security outlawed the ETIM. It was the first time the government formally recognized that a terrorist group was operating inside the country. Hasan Maksu was killed by Pakistani troops in the same year. But the terrorist activities have continued. Throughout the years, the ETIM has taken credit for a series of attacks in several Chinese cities. These include the 2013 Tiananmen Square car bombing and the 2014 slashing and hacking at the Kunming railway station in southwest China. Chinese police say these are not isolated incidents. Before the Tiananmen attack, the terrorist group pledged an extremist campaign on a barren hill on the outskirts of Urumqi. And soon after the Tiananmen attack, a radical Islamist group claimed responsibility and warned of future attacks in the Chinese capital.
Beijing Tiananmen meydanida mashina fidoilik amaliyoti olib berishga muvaffaq bo'ldi. Allohning izni bilan bu jihodiy amaliyot tirisiga sig'mayotgan takabbur Xitoy hokimiyatini qattiq vahimaga soldi.
Chinese police have found evidence that the ETIM has received significant support from Al-Qaeda and previously from Osama bin Laden. It has sent its members to Al-Qaeda training camps. Upon completion of training, some of the members have returned to China to conduct terrorist acts. In 2013, Akbar went to Syria for the so-called jihad and received 3 months of training. He learned how to make explosive devices. He was then sent back to Xinjiang.
Tapqala pulda o'shini bir surishtirgachimda pul tepish maqsadida pulni tepish maqsadida jardan turayotganda jardan turishdan o'zimdan portlatish maqsadida hamda shu jardandagi savdo binosini portlatish uyma bot deb o'zimdan hamda. Mening planimdan men jardan kirgandan keyin men yana odam tarbiyalab hamda yana boshqa shaharlar boshqa taraflarga o'rlashtirib portlatish berishadi.
The ETIM is part of an international terrorist system which threatens not only China. In 2011, a large number of its members went to Syria to fight. There is no clear report on the real number. Anti-terrorist experts say some 4,000 to 5,000 are in Afghanistan, Syria, and Turkey. But there are differences among them. Over the years, the ETIM has expanded its presence on the internet, posting videos calling for extremist campaigns in Xinjiang. The Chinese police have confiscated from ETIM members a large number of guns of various types, anti-tank grenades, and a large amount of knives, explosive devices, and raw materials and equipment for making explosives. This video shows the haul from a war cargo truck at the Yining Kyrgyz port in 1998, military armaments, thousands of bullets, and more than 300 explosive devices. Police followed leads to the terrorist hideout. Special Task Force Officer Long Fei was only 29. He was shot and killed when he took the lead in the raid. The policeman kneeling in this footage in front of Long Fei's grave is Kong Yongqiang. Kong was later killed during the search for the remaining gang members. China has deployed special task forces to crack down on what it calls the three evil forces, namely extremism, separatism, and terrorism. Chinese police have identified Xinjiang as a key battlefield.